Hello, guys. Happy witching hour, early Tuesday morning. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I wanted to come and talk briefly tonight or early this morning about the real reason why you start practicing your witchcraft and things become chaotic, sometimes downright unbearable. Why does that happen? That's what we're going to be talking about. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure that y'all hit that subscribe button. If you guys need to reach me for any assistance, the link to my website is below in the video description box. You can visit divineservicesapothecary.com. There are certain things, I'm telling you, woo, on this day of Aries. I love me some Aries. I do. I love that God. There's things that I wish that I had 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? 20 years ago, 25, I think it was like 20, yeah, almost 20 years ago when I first started practicing. And then I stopped because it scared the hell out of me, but then I came back to it. There's certain things that I wish that I would have had, because you'd be surprised at what your survival instincts that will kick in. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that the past decade, like some of the people in social media, it hits differently in social media, but it can be very similar. But I'm actually talking about real life stuff that you see in social media is like sometimes artificial intelligence. Like, you can't really necessarily trust it. And then plus a lot of these people in social media have not actually lived real life. I have been out in this world. I turned 48 years old, 28 years old. I turned 28 years old. Last year I turned 29. This year I turned 28 years old. But anyway, I've been out in this world. I've had street fights. I've dealt with bad family. I've dealt with messed up people. I've seen it all. I've been through it all. Trust me. So nothing out here surprises or shocks me. But let me get to the punchline here. The real reason when you start practicing, and not all the time, and then sometimes it can be a delayed reaction. You just have to be prepared for it when it comes. The real reason why things can be chaotic, unbearable, like seriously to the point where you just want to go and hold on to a fig tree and just disappear, is because the moment you start practicing, you're opening up doors. And all of the people that have been secretly doing work on you, whether or not it's Bible magic or witchcraft, those things start to manifest. Especially if you tell them that you're practicing. Those secret enemies come to the forefront. Their work comes to the forefront. The spirits that they conjured against you, the energy that they conjured against you, is now coming to the forefront. Those people could be practicing in secret. Those people could be family members. I know that one of the most popular things that I'm dealing with as far as my clients is concerned, is biblical magic of sacrifice. It's so annoying. It's like, really, Santa Muerta, can you help me, Santa Muerta? Seriously. You'd be shocked and amazed at how many people that you thought you could actually trust actually want you dead. In fact, they're not even your people. They're kind of like parasites or energy harvesters. Yeah, it can be shocking. It can be devastating to the spirit to find out some of these people you never could trust them. So that's one of the main things that when y'all come to me, baby, let me tell you, you'd be surprised at how many people's list you're on as being their sacrifice. You be on about 100 people list, some of y'all. Seriously. But anyway, it starts to manifest. You start to see the truth. Okay. Especially when you are doing something outside of the box, when you're pursuing big things in life. Some of y'all got people's that you can't even get a $10 an hour job at as a data entry transcriber, and they after you, gunning for you, hating on you. It's sad and sick, but it's the truth. Some people are just evil incarnate. But especially if you are pursuing things that are going to literally change your life, and those people do not want you to do that. Those people want you dead. They rather see you dead than prosper. It's so sad. Some people are like S bombers. They'll destroy themselves just to destroy you. It's sick, but that's how people are. So that's why all that chaos comes in, and you have to be prepared to deal with it. You have to be prepared and ready to deal with it. I'd say when I become a witchy great great grandmother or a great 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 grandmother, what I'm gonna pass down to my future generations of witches is going to save them if they want to go the option of practicing what I have learned, how to deal with it. Yeah, well, you're right, Unicali Womb. You're right. Some of them, I'm gonna tell you something. It is a possibility that I kind of believe in that conspiracy theory a little bit. Is that some people could have possibly been changed or cloned or something? Is that what you're talking about? Or maybe they never was human from the beginning. I'm not sure. But I do know that people that you've known your whole life, all of a sudden, they have a problem with you. And you're like, well, what are you talking about? I'm not doing nothing but trying to prosper here. They had other plans for you. That's a fact. Especially if you're real pretty, you like Unicali. You're really pretty. I can tell that you just have those pretty features. Especially if you're really pretty and they have a jealousy problem with you. It is sick. It is sad, and it's crazy. People try to act like, witches, we have the most problems, like just naturally, especially if you have delayed in practicing and your mother didn't practice or your grandmother didn't practice, but your great great grandmother practiced. We have the most problems because something kept knocking and calling to us. It called to us. And the moment that happened, now your eyes are open and you can see. And those people, you can see what they're doing, and it begins to manifest. So you have to be prepared for, and that's why I think it's important for you to seek trusted guidance on that to see what is going to come towards you. And you can't be stuck on one person. This is the one thing I can tell you, especially when it comes to these people on the internet. They be like, you my enemy, you my, hey, I can see like 500 people problem with you. And trust me, I ain't thinking about you, bruh. When you just on that one person, go don't be stuck on that one person. You'd be surprised at the people that are moving in silence against you and doing the most harm. and they be silent. They're either practicing or they're going and paying people to do work on you. And trying to sell people's souls is big. I'm not that type of witch. Can't nobody come to me and say, "Hey, Jamila, I got a soul for you." I don't do that, dear. I am Glenda the Good Witch. I don't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel good about that too. I'm not into that. Now, when it comes to removing death magic, death curses, a lot of that stuff, I'm your woman. But just hurting some innocent person, nah, I don't get down like that. And that's something that I'm very proud of. Okay. That, it's the reason why I feel good every single day. I wouldn't want to do that to another person because I wouldn't want it done to me. Right. Now, if somebody trying to do it to me and my loved ones, we gonna have a problem. We gonna have a serious problem. You better check my Akashic records. I got the sun in my first house. So you probably chose the wrong one. I'm just saying. That Mars and that sun conjunction trine, you dealing with somebody relentless, somebody that does not care, somebody that will literally just, yeah, no, I don't I don't care about what you think your power is. I don't care. Okay. I don't. Okay. And anyway, no, enough bragging about myself. That's what you're gonna be dealing with. And you know what? You can't be shucking and jiving. My who was that used to say that a lot? I think my grandpa used to say that, shucking and jiving. You can't be shucking and jiving. This ain't no game, this ain't no joke. People don't think it's real. Like, are you kidding me? It's very real. Or either they don't want other people to believe it's real. I have no idea. But that's literally what ends up happening. And those people are gonna, preach to you, oh, that's evil. And if I had $1 for everybody that told you that witchcraft was evil while practicing it themselves in secret, I'd be a millionaire by now. I'd be extremely rich, man, for real. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, especially if you're practicing real magic to where you're actually opening up doorways, like you're opening that up within yourself, and now and you're not bull crapping with it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're working with the 4 cardinal directions in spirit. Now, if you just doing something to where, like, there's a difference between a petition where you're asking for something versus making the shit happen. There is a difference, because witchcraft is not going and asking anything for anything. It's demanding it. Okay. And I'm not talking, because a lot of people be stuck on curse them, curse, curse, curse. No, I'm talking. No, that's not. That's not what we doing. Okay. That's the problem these days. Everybody just want to curse everybody. What the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you chill out, have a coconut smile, and shut up? We said, this is not sexy. What is this? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, goodness gracious. It's just, but women, sometimes women can be very confused. But anywho, it's not just about that. You know what I'm saying? It's about understanding and that connection with the divine self and the divine feminine. And most people don't realize, they like, I'm gonna be a divine feminine right after I destroy these innocent people. Like, um I don't, do you know those people? No, I don't. Oh, please, don't tell me anymore. I don't want to see no evil, hear no evil, smell no evil, because it smells bad, think no evil. I don't want to smell it, see it, speak it, please. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because like you can actually bring about a lot of healing, not just to yourself and your family, but the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but people that get stuck on that, you know, weirdness, they don't need to, they don't need to touch it, you know. And a lot of what's going on is that there's a lot of people that are practicing that don't really understand justification of certain things, okay? And you're not justified to hex somebody over a stupid reason. You're not. You can't just randomly say, hey, look at those people over there, I want to attack them. No, because you will get stopped. And you can't fight with a god. You're not God. You can't put Aries in the freezer. You can't do a freezer spell on Aries, the god Aries. He'll set your freezer on fire. He'll make it break down. You can't do that. Okay? So you know, it just is what it is. Okay? Yeah. But you know, that's pretty much what happens. Do you always have to return or reverse a curse and it's going to devastate that person's life? Nope. Especially if it's a family member, you can send back love and light, but it depends on what that person is doing. Somebody trying to sacrifice me and my babies, and honey, you gonna get fire, death, and brimstone. The hell wrong with you? You don't know what people talk about late at night with their gods or their spirits or themselves. You know, they and them be the main ones that be up to no good. You be like, what in the world? Because why are you trying to steal my children? Why are you trying to cause division with my children? Why you doing that? You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to use them for? That's one of the things about mothers and children. You have to be careful with that too. Because people are usually always trying to turn the people against you that you love, that are the closest to you, so that they can use them for something. Nobody that has good intentions is turning parents against their children and destroying families. Nobody. They like there's you know, unless there is horrific abuse, you know, like somebody got burned, like y'all remember Good Times, when the y'all remember the part that Janet Jackson played on there, and her mama was like a drug addict and she was like burning Janet with the iron and stuff. Like, y'all remember that? Like, some of y'all too young to remember that. I remember that though. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, if that's the case, but you know, if you got somebody that just want to talk bad about you to your kids and stuff just for the hell of it, like that person's up to no good. They can't be trusted, and they probably been doing the most from the beginning. So a lot of y'all are dealing with that part, and you have to be very careful because you know what? Let me tell you something. You are the authority in that situation. You can't be emotional about that situation. Either you gonna be the chariot for your offspring or not. One or the other. Straight up and down. And I'm not even just talking about that. I'm talking about other situations. So, you know, you just really never know. Like typically people realize why their life was so Willy Wonka when you realize that your life literally has been manipulated by witchcraft. And do not hate witchcraft. You a witch. You're supposed to practice it. But you have to be prepared for that. And I have like that I have. I'm actually gonna make a video about that. My favorite spiritual tool of 2025, my salt of Aries. The salt that I made for Aries. Yeah. Inspired by Aries would be my favorite. Salt. Period. Salt. is going to be very important for you to have on deck. Um, but it's not just salt by itself, it's adding other ingredients. And, you know, salt within itself, you know, salt is in the Bible. Salt is purifying, okay? But a lot of times our spiritual ingredients, they need to be charged with some type of spirit. You know, all herbs and, you know, salt is mainly connected to the gods of Saturn as well as planet Earth, but Saturn mainly Hecate and Loki and Ops and Cronus. Okay. So salt is connected to Saturn. It's could, you know, so there's certain spiritual energies that the different things are connected to. So, you know, connecting with that is really important, and not being confused about it. I think that that's the main problem. You know, and I understand that there's people that are just untrustworthy. It is. You just can't damn trust them. And it's really, it makes it really difficult. And I can't stand untrustworthy, conniving people that just, and because it just scares other people. It does. It just, everybody be scared to, there's still good people in this world. That's why the goddess is not going to let, yes, I do too, Unicali. Hey, hey, sis. Um, that's why spirit, God, goddess is not going to allow them to create trust issues for everybody, in particular me, and particularly me. It's not going to let them, they can say 12 hours a day, oh, don't trust Jamila. She ain't nothing, da 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 da. She did this to me playing victim. But in reality, I ain't never been those people's enemy. I just defended myself, and I am a Cancer sun. Keep that in mind. I don't know why in the hell people don't. Do y'all know anything? How many Cancers we got up in here? Child, I don't mess with them Cancers. Oh my God. I find out somebody is a Cancer and I'm like, how you doing? I have nothing but respect for you. I bow to you. Because Cancers are a trip. Don't cross a Cancer, man. They can be very harsh and they ain't even got to say nothing to you. Oh, you're a Leo. Nice. I love all of my zodiac signs. I think that the main people that I'm having issues with would be Scorpios and Sagittariuses right now. No, that's Capricorn, or is that Leo? I think that's Leo. Yeah, that's Leo. Yeah. But, you know, other than that, I love all of the zodiac signs, you know what I'm saying? But it's just something about them Cancers, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got our name. You know what I'm saying? Like the Cancers, I'm gonna tell you straight up and down, we are, those are natural witches. Natural witches. There's no other zodiac sign that is connected to the moon. And I'm not trying to make you fear Cancers. I'm just saying don't be attacking them if they ain't did nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be, and then the Leos too, man. Leave them Leos alone, bro. Leave them alone. What it just, people think that spirituality and witchcraft is a time for you to, yes, I want to challenge. That's no. You don't just go and find challenges in witchcraft. That's not like some people, they're like, I see an opportunity and I'm going to take a challenge. Don't do that. Do what is necessary. And that's it. And be careful the information that you get. Be careful. Don't just go off half cocked, you know, and then people be trying to, and it's like, well, why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so weird. So, but that's the real reason why all of a sudden, you know, you may do like a simple money spell or find a job spell or love spell, and it may backfire. And you're like, why are my spells backfiring? That's a sign. Okay. I'm gonna get to your question, slime diver. There was something I was thinking about the number one sign of the evil eye curse, and I was thinking about it earlier. Can't think of it. What information do you have on Geminis? Geminis are amazing people. They are connected to Mercury. That is a very powerful planet. Uh, Geminis, the duality in Geminis that the Gemini represents is not necessarily good and evil, but more so very, very good. If you cross me, I'm going to do something very evil. But Geminis have to balance that out, and they really have to be careful to not be psychopaths with it. They need to, Geminis, all air signs need to get to their sensitive side and think before they act is the one critique that I would give to Geminis, because they can be very reactionary. And sometimes you got to step back and pay attention. Okay. Especially when it comes to adversarial energy. I think that Geminis, my main critique is for Geminis is knowing who thy enemy is. Okay. And that Virgos are a lot better because Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgos, but Geminis, they will fly off the handle. Just like, and sometimes they don't want to listen and they think that they know everything, but that's okay though. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all cool. You're welcome, slime diver. Okay, you got a daughter that's a Scorpio, do you? Yeah, my grandbaby is a Scorpio. Um, I have, and when you're a witchy mother and grandmother, like it's so fun. I think that our generation is gonna be some of the best. I do. I have an Aries daughter, I have a Leo son, two Pisces, son and daughter. Then I believe that my grandson is an Aries. He's an Aries, yeah. And then my granddaughter is a Scorpio. So, yeah. Yeah, they just have to be careful, Stevan, with misunderstandings, mistaking things, you know, always looking at the negative and not the positive, and then also being disconnected from their emotions. Um, you all air signs, I am encouraging you to if you have put your emotions to the side, that is a mistake. I think that it's important. Your emotions is important. You can't disconnect emotionally. Otherwise, you turn into a walking shell. You can't do that. Emotions are very important. And I've actually seen people, uh, is there any way that I can remove my heart chakra? Huh? I want to remove my chakras. I don't want to feel nothing. And so I'm like, no, you can't do that anyway. Some people don't believe in chakras, but um, yeah, I believe in the chakras as a system of identifying energy points. So, you don't want to be a walking shell of a person. You want to experience joy. And even though you may have experienced a lot of pain, when you disconnect yourself from your emotions, you can't experience joy or happiness. So you just have to transmute the pain that you're experiencing, which is something that I am an expert at because I'm cancer. But I don't just go around processing everybody's. No, 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 no. I did that up until my mid 30s. I'm not doing that no more. Folks got to pay me for that. Mm-mm. I ain't about to have nobody dumping on me, man. And I don't suggest any of you cancers doing that. Do not do that. Do not process everybody's emotions in this world, because I'm telling you, they will dump it all off on you. Not just cancers, but somehow cancers are just, we process emotions. And I think that that's why a lot of cancers end up feeling like people just dump everything, because people do. And that's not fair for people to do that. So, um, and people really pick on us a lot. They see us as crybabies, and that's actually not the truth. There's nothing wrong with crying. Crying is healing. But then again, living in a world where crying is seen as a weakness, and people have literally been abused for expressing their feelings, I can see why. Because, yeah, just, I don't know what's going on with it. But, I'd say that if you got issues like that as an adult, you better get that worked out. You're not getting any younger. Yeah, it is. Some people will try to dump all over us. Everything. We did it. We did it. We did it. Um, and we want, and they'll even try to make us feel like, well, you're subconsciously doing it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Cancers are not subconsciously doing that, because we rule over the subconscious. How would we do that? That would, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, it is. You know what I'm saying? That's any zodiac sign, but I think that cancers get dumped on more than anybody, you know. But anyway, let me get off my soapbox. But I think it's important to know what you're up against. Anxiety is not something that you should ignore. If you're having anxiety, that is a sign that there probably is something really to fear. And you have to know what that is. Okay. You have to figure it out. So when you start practicing, you'll notice that people will start to act funny towards you. And, there's a reason for that, because somebody that had their own thought process about who you were and what your purpose is in this life, you know, that's what they needed you to be. And since you're not that, because they don't know you, they know themselves and what they need, which it's codependency. That's codependency. If somebody has to be something, like those people in your life that don't want you to grow, they don't want you to grow. Constantly trying to remind you of when you was 5 years old, and took a dump on yourself. You know what I'm saying? I would tell this story, y'all. I would tell this story. Like, I will never, this memory will always be in my brain. I'm not going to tell the story, okay? But it was just really a trip when I was a kid. But anyway, and you'll be 30, 40, or 50, and those people will still be treating you like you're a child, and that's disgusting. Nobody should be getting infantilized. That's disgusting. Nobody wants to be treated that way. People want to be, when you treat an adult like a child, you're taking away their dignity. And that's disgusting. I don't believe in doing that. Okay. And you're doing it on purpose, and you are. Okay, that's why us mothers have to be careful. I mean, mothers are okay with doing that because those are going to always be your babies, but don't expect them to never cross the road. You know, you're supposed to let your children branch off on their own, and but however, things are not really going that way for some people because some of y'all got people attacking your family so hard body that it's dangerous. You got to figure out a way to deal with that. And it's literally a cycle that just keeps going on and on and on. It's terrible, And so you have to know how to prioritize and handle things one thing at a time. You have to not regret the past if it's something that has been going on for years and you're just now handling it and taking care of it. Maybe it's just in that time frame that you need to handle it and take care of it and not necessarily look back, but it's okay to look back. Like, it's definitely okay to do that because sometimes you have to, because you can reclaim that. That is a real thing, because some of y'all have been in limbo for years. And limbo in the tarot deck, it's either going to be the Five of Cups, the Seven of Cups, or either the Hanged Man. That's limbo. And I've seen people in limbo. I've been in limbo myself because of situations that needed to be taken care of. If you have somebody throwing something at you and you have no idea and they're moving in silence, then you're going to have things that are coming at you that are definitely going to cause delays. And it's not that you're blaming other people for your problems. That's not what it is. And that person is directly or purposefully doing that to you. That person is purposely doing that to you. They're not. It's not a mistake, and you just didn't realize it. You didn't realize it that person could have been doing that for the past 20 years. And you never know what. And it's not the point of you did this and I'm going to get you. It's That's not the point. The point is correcting it and moving forward from it. And if that person has a problem with it to the point where they feel so emotional that, they want to get violent or they want to threaten people's lives, then there's spirits that you can call upon for that. Because some people are just that crazy. Okay. And yeah. So, but that's why, because the door is open and there's such thing as monitoring spirits. Those monitoring to keep you where they want you to be kept. And when you start to step outside of that box, they are waiting for you right there. And they're saying, what is he doing? What is she doing? So, and you just have to know what to do with it, and it doesn't take years and years and years and years. It doesn't take that long. It doesn't take a lifetime. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But people will keep at it. Hey, can you give me a water sign? People will keep at it. And please, let me just give this disclaimer. I'm not talking about anybody in social media. Nobody in social media. I'm not talking about it. Thank you, sweetie. I'm not talking about anybody in social media, because everything that I say, people want to pretend that I'm talking to them. And it's very annoying in social media, because people will say, well, you subliminally attack me. No, I don't want to subliminally attack you. I don't want to attack you straight on. I don't want to argue with you. I'm talking about the adversaries that, that need to focus on their real enemies, which mainly is themselves. For real. Like, I'm talking about people actually in your life that can actually have an impact, that have been having an impact for years. Uh, and so when you first start out, depending on what they did, depending on what it is that they want to happen to you, which hopefully isn't death, but a lot of the times it is, unfortunately. I don't know what makes people crazy like that, to the point where they just want you dead, you know. You're not going to worry about that. You're not going to, and you are going to be aware of it, because basically strange things start happening. And you can tell that it almost feels like you're being followed, which really is what ends up opening up the witch to start practicing, because she may have been going to church for years, but something extra is going on. Something's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, and for most of the witches that I've talked to, regardless to what happened, they feel like witchcraft saved their life. And I'm one of those people that agree with that, you know? And some people don't want witchcraft to save your life. Some people, they like, I have a contract on your soul, your kids. Really? Oh, because I'm crazy like a wolf. Uh-huh. Yeah, really? Interesting. And, it just is what it is. And some of y'all have such brightness and just this ultraviolet light, to where, and let's face it, they can't do that, but they can be a real damn nuisance. Those spirits are very annoying. And sometimes you can even smell them. It's weird. It really is. I can always tell when it's a bad spirit nearby, because I'll either smell my valerian root, or I'll be like, did the cat fart, or did somebody fart? And then as soon as I will divinate it, spirit is like, oh, well, and y'all got to understand that, like, let's say it's an enemy that tried to murk you with magic, and they pass away. Certain rituals that you got to do to protect yourself still. So, mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, yeah, you're right about that, Unicali. You should contact me and come on my panel. I really like people to come on here and talk about your ideas and stuff about that, because I think that that's very interesting. You're right about that. And some people were born without a soul completely. Uh, you know. So yeah. Yes, ma'am. That's very interesting. You're right. So that's why, and you just have to remember to try not to be scared. Try not to be scared of it, because well, I don't even have to tell you that they want you to be scared. They want you to be afraid. Why? I don't know. I don't understand this obsession with that. Uh, I have a lot of theories about that. Scare tactics and fear tactics can sometimes be done. However, to teach people a lesson, to wake people up, that's not going to wake the world up. That's not the problem. Making everybody go in fear. It's so many people on this earth that are just ready to just be gone. Like they just don't want to be here. And when you get to that point, that's when you gotta have the other people stand up, and raise up the frequencies and vibrations, more than ever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. You're right, Unicali. Fear feeds them. It does. It feeds them. I know that I will admit something. Um, I've got adversaries that I know are very scared, and it humors me. Do I feed off of it? No, but it does humor me. It does, because they should be scared. Nobody should just be la li la. I'm just gonna attack you, la di la la di day. No, no. But the world in general just doesn't deserve that. I mean, we've been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are just like, goodness gracious, would it just stop? So that's why, you know what I'm saying? And I don't just teach the craft, but I also guide. And so, if something like that is happening to you, and what's crazy is that they don't want us witches teaching each other, and they want us to be separated, which is so, it's like they're doing everything that is the complete opposite to what is needed for the human race to survive. It's weird, you know. And while I will agree that there are some women that you need to avoid, you know what I'm saying? Like, but this whole weirdness, it shouldn't even be a thing. It should be that we all live in our own separate houses, and we're not even thinking about each other. We're focused on what am I going to cook my kids for dinner? What am I going to do? Am I going to give him a foot rub tonight or something? You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be focused on that, and I look at men side eye that like to keep beefs going between women. So you up to something? You up to no good, because why are you even doing that? Yeah, fear can teach some to have common sense. You're right. But anyway, and you shouldn't give up on it. But what you should do is just trust the process. Is the only thing I can say. Trust the process, and definitely seek guidance from the gods and goddesses. That's what they're there for. You know, nothing wrong with seeking guidance. There's nothing wrong with that. But, there's some people that they want to be a living God, which I don't, I don't, I think it's okay to be a living God for yourself, but for you to just say, I'm God's world, That's okay too, because, but I think that when it comes to boundaries, because I truly believe that we all have our own earth, and nobody should be trying to impede on other people's earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see that a lot. Oh, before I get out of here, the number one sign of the evil eye: constant berating. No matter what it is that you do or how hard you're trying. And this is sad because a lot of people were raised this way. No matter what it was they were doing, it was never good enough. And it's just their parents may have been constantly berating them. I think that's why people do that. I think the origin of the evil eye comes from home. Um, and I think that it's a direct connection when you're like, for you to be somebody that, we're all human, we learn from our mistakes that we make, but you've got people that are just berating you. And how do you expect, somebody to grow in that environment? You can't. Somebody's constantly yelling at you and criticizing you. uh People treat their dogs better than that. So, I mean, that is one of the direct signs of the evil eye, especially when it comes to people that are close to you. They're constantly, no matter what it is that you do, you did something wrong. Even if you did something good, they don't want to recognize it. They don't want to acknowledge, hey, I appreciate that, and that's very common these days. That energy, because people don't know how to heal from their childhood wounds, and it's something that you have to handle with patience. You know what I mean? Like, you really, really, really have to not only be patient with yourself, but because it's hard. It really is, especially when you're dealing with that adversarial energy. It's hard. I've dealt with the diversity of thousands of people at one time, all coming at me about just with evil. And it's almost like you got to be Neo, because all that energy being thrown at you, that can be pretty devastating to the spirit. All this negativity being thrown at you, and you are literally trying, and those people are doing the complete opposite to what is going to support anything good happening for you. So then you realize those people do not have your best interests at heart, and they're actually working against you, which is sad, and it is a curse. It's part of the evil eye. It's one of the things. And it kind of reminds me of, if y'all ain't never heard of Sylvia Likens, y'all should look that up, because I don't know, I feel a lot of compassion for her and what she went through. Like, oh my God. Like, when I first saw that movie on Netflix, my jaw dropped. Like, I was like, this is so evil. I was like, I it was so heartbreaking for me. And part of the family is still alive and living in Florida. So I'm not coming down on their family or anything, because I'm not, because that's not my business. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't really talk about things that we hear in the news. But it's that kind of evil. People have that ability to be that evil, and When you start to practice witchcraft, it's comparable to it because you learn what true evil is. And you've got to face it and heal from it because it's shocking. It's so shaking, you know, the evil. So, yes, contact me. You can text me 770-686-7461. I would love to have you guys on. That's pretty much it. Peace and love to you guys and blessings. Happy Tuesday to y'all. I've got to go, you guys. I just wanted to come and say that, a lot of us witches are shell shocked. And that's the worst thing, is to be an actual witch, but to have so much trauma that you don't know who to trust. And that's just really sad, because a high priestess or somebody like that, like, I'm going to tell you something, depending on what a person does, there does need to be a deep level of understanding. You don't have to attack somebody, but just understanding where people are coming from. Uh, you know what I mean? So, anyway, that's pretty much it. I gotta go. Y'all have a good one. Okay. Blessings to y'all. Bye bye.